Heather. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to sit down with me and talk about Slave to the Dream.
I'm excited to do so.
Excellent. How has Slave to the Dream changed your picture of the author?
Well, I have to say, Gaylan and I are still getting to know each other. But when you meet someone, you have a preconceived notion of someone. I was very surprised to find out that he was a fighter. I think that was probably my most surprising thing, because I see Gaylan as a mentor figure in my life. And I know that he has that strength within him, but reading about his fighting was something that surprised me, because he's such a calm, collected person now.
It's true. I think that's with a lot of people.
Yeah.
When you say that he was a fighter, do you mean the physical fighting or the fighting for what he wanted?
Hey guys,
The physical fighting.
Take a picture of.
Fighting for what he
Look, I
wanted
took a picture of.
does not surprise me at all.
Look, I take a picture of.
Very close.
Look, I'm doing it.
Good job.
She's a budding photographer. He is a fighter. I recognized that when he was running for political office, that it was something that he truly believed in. And when he was out meeting people, going door to door, he was fighting for what he believed to be in Wyoming's best interest. So that part of it did not surprise me. The physical fighting that he talked about, and the way he would think about fighting his older brother and things, it was just so funny to me, because I've never seen that side of him before. So I found that to be a surprise.
And that's what as he grew and evolved, he transitioned out of that.
Yes, and how that shaped into having that strength to fight for what he wanted, to be the slave to the dream, and to fight for his vision of what he wanted in his life. He was able to take that internally and use it for better.
Definitely. I know as a teacher, you work out of books.
Mm-hmm.
How do you take the time just to sit down and have a good book? So how do you just take a break and sit down and make time for casual reading?
It's funny, because a lot of the times, I just finished a book last night that one of my students had read, and she's like, "You've got to read this book." And I wanted to put it in my classroom library, but before I do so, I always read a book on my own. But reading a book just for my own selfishness, I will wait. Yes, I'm a 5th grade teacher. So 5th graders, they're reading some books that would blow your mind, the topics that kids are
I'm ready
reading
to
about.
go when you're done doing this.
Okay, well, this is going to be a while, so why don't you go play with your trolls? Okay?
Okay.
All right. She tells you exactly what
So
she wants.
they're reading more mature books than.
Yes. The book that I read last night was actually called The Girl Who Was Supposed to Die. And it was about a girl that is abducted because her parents do some biogenetic research, and these people wanted to find out what her parents were doing, and so they kidnapped her thinking that she would have information for them. And it was, I mean, honestly, I'd say some of the content in there wasn't much different from what you would read about in Gaylan's book. And the risks that people are at. So I've shared a little bit of Gaylan's book with my 5th graders. Later on in the year, we do memoirs where they have to write their own autobiography, which is kind of hard for a 10 or 11-year-old kid to do. But as I read to them a little bit about his youth and growing up, they can see experiences that they've already had themselves that they can write about.
I got. He gave me that.
What is on there?
The same thing.
The same thing.
I can read it when I'm 15.
Oh, okay.
When you're 15?
Is that what Gaylan told you? She likes seeing herself on the camera too.
Well, she looks good.
Yes. One of her first words was cheese. She knows how to do it.
Especially with selfies.
Uh-huh.
So that's really interesting that you've already incorporated a little bit of it into your dialogue with your students.
Yes.
Can you share what that was?
Well, I brought it to school, and so they wanted to know what it was I was reading. They thought it was Martin Luther King Jr., which I thought was really kind of interesting. And I could see where they, in their sheltered life, would think that just at a glance. And so I told them, no, this was actually a friend of mine that wrote a book, and they thought that was so cool. And then that generated the conversation of, is that something that you guys would want to do in your life, in your future, of writing your own stories and having those published? And I have a couple of kids that want to be authors. And so for them to see that it is something that's possible was really neat for them. And then I told them that it was an autobiography. And we talked about the difference between a biography and an autobiography, and how later on this year they will be writing their own memoirs, which is in a sense an autobiography. So
That's awesome, and for fifth grade students to realize that sky's the limit.
Yes.
If you want to write, you can write.
yes,
Yeah.
well, and that's we're really studying the election right now, and the whole process of it. We had a really fun conversation about what is the Electoral College. And my sweet babies thought that it was a college that you go to learn how to be president. Which, wouldn't that be a great idea? But that's not at all what the Electoral College is. So we learned exactly what the Electoral College is, who it is, and what it does. And going home and asking their parents, there were some parents that thought it was a college.
Seriously.
On how to become president. Other parents were kind of able to tell them, but not really. And so we've studied that whole process. We've studied presidents from the past and our future candidates that we have right now. And my kids have researched that, and they're going to vote on Tuesday. And one of my kids asked me, well, why are we doing this? And I said, well, think about it. In not 2 years, because that'll be when we have so not in 2 terms, but the next election,
Right.
my students will be ready to vote.
Right.
And so I was saying, if we have 2 terms of Trump, or if we have 2 terms of Clinton, essentially the next person that they would be voting for would be the person after that 2-year or that 2-term president. And so they really thought about that. And then as we talk about the qualifications of being president, yes,
Would you like to go pet the kitty?
I can't because I'm allergic, but you can.
Will someone else do it with me?
Are you scared to pet the kitty on your own? Oh, the kitty's nice.
She's a sweet kitty.
I know.
Her name is Sadie.
Sadie. What's your name when you pretend to be a kitty?
Mittens.
How do you talk when you're Mittens? Can you tell us? And do you answer meow, meow, meow?
Yeah.
You sound like Henrietta Pussycat from Mr. Rogers. Yeah. Go pet Sadie.
Well, I think that I'd like to
But someone do it
go
with
back
me?
to school.
Oh,
In your fifth grade class, we didn't cover that kind of a
no,
curriculum.
we get into deep discussions. And I love it because my kids see the broader spectrum of the world
With some-
rather than just their own little lives. And when we looked
Would you
at the
pet it with
qualifications
me?
of being president, I said, who knows? Maybe in
Are you
here right
allergic?
now we have a
Did
future
you pet the
president.
kitty?
And the kids
Why
thinking
did you
about all
not
of these
pet the
things
kitty?
about their future. That's what my message is with my students, is what you do today
That's very interesting.
leads to what you do tomorrow, leads to who you become. And it's such an important thing for them because kids are exposed to so many things nowadays.
Right.
I told Gaylan a story about busting a kid in my class who had pot with him and had just gotten high before coming to school that day.
Fifth grade.
5th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's important for kids to see a bigger picture than what.
Well, and not to be sheltered,
Yes.
and so that they're aware and they can recognize.
Yes.
I'm afraid to pet it with on my own.
Do you want to sit down?
I'm afraid to do it on my own.
Oh, to pet the kitty?
You don't have to be afraid to pet the kitty.
And
I think someone can help you pet the kitty.
Okay, let's pause.
Okay.